Hello everyone, my name is Dan from SoloPress, and welcome to our tutorial for how to use the gradient tool in Illustrator as part of our graphic design tutorial series. We're creating a lot of free content, so make sure you click subscribe and the bell icon to be notified of when we upload. It's a simple process, and we'll first start off with making a shape in our Illustrator file. Just as an example, I'll be making a shape using the rectangle tool, holding the Shift key as I draw it. Go to the gradient panel on the left-hand side of the screen and click to select. I'll then click on the box, and Illustrator should have created a smooth black to white gradient. Depending on your settings, you might not have any options showing up on your screen. To rectify this, go to the fill box on the right-hand side and click Gradient Options to open up a little settings box. Firstly though, we'll talk about how drawing the line can create lots of different types of gradient styles. If we keep the gradient tool enabled and draw a short line, then the gradient will generate over a short distance. By power of deduction, this also means that a longer line will create a longer gradient. We can also change the angle when first generating it too. By changing the direction your line is facing, it will change the angle of the gradient and therefore give you different effects. Now onto the gradient tool settings. New in the 2020 version, there are now 3 different types of gradients, including the new freeform mode, but we'll get back to that one in a minute. Below this, there's the option to manually and accurately change the angle of the gradient, which will rotate it. Now to change the colors of the gradient, double-click on the small circles at each end of the gradient bar. You have the option of choosing some predetermined colors, or if we select one of those colors, we can go into this box and manually adjust it to exactly what we need. I'm going to go for a bluish color for the first box, and then a darker blue for the second one. If you're following along with this tutorial, an important thing that might have been different is that I'm using CMYK sliders, which are different to the traditional RGB you might be using when editing photos, and what you might be seeing on your Illustrator. CMYK is a color process used in printing, and so has a different color space to your monitor. We've made a video explaining the differences, so click the pop-out banner in the corner or follow the link in the description to find out. Anyway, now that we've changed the gradient colors, we can go about stylizing them. Going back to the type of gradient, we have linear and radial. Linear is just a simple gradient from one end to the other, but by contrast, radial peaks at a certain point of the gradient. By default, the center will be in the middle, but if we grab the little handle at the center and move it, we can adjust the central point of the gradient. Radial is circle-based, so we can also change the maximum radius of our secondary color, which is this one. What's similar with both is if you look at the gradient bar on the gradient box, we're able to slide the colors closer to each other. This affects the transition harshness between those colors. As before with making a short line on the gradient tool, it'll also make the gradient a lot shorter. Switching back to linear, we can see a visual representation of how we're changing it. By looking at the physical line on the gradient itself, we can see where the colors are meeting, and you can more accurately set the start and stop points anywhere on this line. This will also affect the location box of the color you've selected. If I select the lighter blue and try to move it as close to the middle as possible, looking at the location box should reveal that I'm actually a little way off. I can drop down the menu to snap the gradient point to a certain percentage of the image, or type in my own value and press enter. So that's how you make traditional gradients. But in the latest update of Illustrator, which at this point is Illustrator 2020, there's a new freeform gradient option within this tool. Selecting it, you'll see that the colors we've previously selected are gone, but instead replaced with 4 points and a randomly selected color scheme. It's actually pretty useful for gradient generation if you keep changing to and from the freeform option, like this. But I don't like these colors. I've decided I want a pink one. I can select each of those gradient points by clicking on them. You'll see that there's a small dashed line around it, and you can adjust this by dragging the handle to affect the weighting of the color points. Incidentally, pinks and purples are proving to be quite popular in gradients. I can then go through and change the other color points to different colors using the same method. Actually, I want 5 gradient points. So by keeping the gradient tool selected, I can click anywhere on the shape to make another one, which I can still adjust the weighting and color of. If you make another one by accident or just want to delete your gradient, you can select it by clicking it and then press the backspace button. Or, when it's selected, click the bin button here. Really simple interface here. Now you may have noticed that there's the option for drawing points or lines. We've had points selected, but we can also create a color in a line by clicking one point for the start and another for the end. You can also adjust the shape of this line by making a third point in a different direction, which will bend it, or simply by adding a third point between the first two and dragging that to make a curve. Each of these points will need separate colors to be input. The gradient tool is very versatile and it's currently a graphic design trend, especially the freeform style. Thankfully, Adobe have made it simple and easy to use. So that's how you use it. If you found this video useful, please leave a like, and if you have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to comment them. We're creating all kinds of tutorials for Adobe programs, so hit subscribe and enjoy our content. My name's Dan. Thanks for watching.